Hello and welcome to this edition of Diaspora Central Spotlight. I am Gil Inglés, and with me today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a mover and shaker from the city of Houston. This man is not allowing any bars to hold him back. He's full throttle, he's all the way in, and he's ensuring not only that the city is moving and shaking in the right direction, but he's also ensuring that it is connected to its heritage by respecting some of the things that are part of what we consider the urban culture of America, the African culture of America. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Alan Thornton of the 40-Acre Conference right here to the Diaspora Central Spotlight.
How you doing? Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on.
It's a great pleasure, man. You are a busy man, so we're going to try to race through this one, but touch on everything that needs to be touched. Okay. Congratulations on the completion or the achievement of another conference.
Thank you. Well, I would say we definitely knocked that out, so thank you.
Now, it's actually something that is changing the texture of the city. Mm-hmm. And in all honesty, the texture of the nation, of the region, because you're doing it in such an authentic and legitimate way. And I say authentic and legitimate because not only you are doing from a community perspective, you are also doing it from an institutional perspective by actually engaging the executive, the government, by letting them understand, listen, we mean serious business. Because sometimes we can do things from a community perspective, but if it's not in accordance to the specific standards, right?
Absolutely.
We don't win. We end up getting stuck. We end up losing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, you're right. And so it is a bigger mountain to climb. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest with you. And many people say, why, just take the easy route. Just get some influencers in the room, do something, like that, or get some government officials in the room, get some, but don't do all of them.
Yeah.
Right? All of them's too much.
Yeah.
And I think to really change the narrative and to get where we need to be, everybody needs to be involved, right? So I just had billionaire Michael V. Roberts here, and he was working on a project, and he's advising us on a project, right? Because the 40 Acres has a few layers to it. The conference is to just show people that bringing all of these different types of people together is possible, right? That's the foundation. Yeah. It's a much bigger project, and if I told everybody that kind of stuff that was in my head, it would scare people.
Right? Yeah. And sometimes you got to dilute things in order for people to be able to digest.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it could be too potent, too strong, and eventually you, instead of enriching them, you can end up scaring them. Yeah,
100%, right? And just with the conference, so you want to have celebrities, government officials, you want to have top entrepreneurs, top corporate executives, you want to have people that are recognized by Forbes, recognized by Fortune, and you want to have a bunch of different showcases with influencers for each one. And on top of that, you want to sponsor kids to be what they see. It's way too much, man. Pick one. Yeah. I said, nah.
I want them all.
I want them all. And so here's the reason why. And the reason why is huge. When there's a bunch of kids that need to be what they see because they're probably on a path that's going to lead to some type of destruction, whether dead or in jail. Takes me back to when I was a kid, and my mom was here, and I was put into an alternative school program. And when I was in second grade, I was told, look, you won't even make it to the time you're 18. You'll be either dead or in jail. And a lot of my friends fulfilled that prophecy around me. Right? So I knew if there was a couple pivotal moments of my life, and if I would have saw some of these things back when I was a kid, it would have totally changed the trajectory of my life, besides my parents, which are great people. Yeah. So it matters to continue to do that for that one kid. It matters for programs to change. And I saw that, right? We're in election season. There's a lot of government officials that want to do some great things. So let's help them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of corporations that said, look, I saw what happened when George Floyd died. I want to give $1 million, $5 million, $100 million, $1 billion.
Right.
But they don't know where to put it.
Right.
Right? And they don't know how to do it in a way that aligns with their brand. So what ultimately happens, and math is my best subject, history is what I enjoy the most. It sounded a lot to me like 40 acres and a mule, right? Great intentions,
right?
A great plan,
yeah,
but something that's not really executed on, even if it's not perfect execution, let's at all, zero execution. Yeah. So that's why we called it the 40 Acre Conference. So we can get those things and strive to get those things that were not necessarily promised to us, even though they were.
Right.
But to really focus on the things in the future that we can change the trajectory of our life. Right. And help corporations who back in 2020, right? We're not talking 100 years ago. We're talking a couple years ago. Yeah. Less than 7% of that 300 billion that they promised to the Black community has actually been dispersed. Wow. So we created something to where they say, why so many showcases? Why so many? You could just do one. Well, if there's a young person that is really into a certain sport, let's say golf, we do a golf showcase and we have a golf tournament, but they're not necessarily, that same kid is not the same kid that may be really into film. Yeah. So I do two separate showcases, right? We just held our first film festival. May not be the same kid that's really interested in chess. Right. So we do our chess tournament. May not be the same kid that's interested in being a real estate entrepreneur. So I have $1 million panels, and we had a billionaire on one talking about real estate and how to build it from the ground up. Right. So that's why we do all these different showcases, and then everything that we package up, we give to the 1,000 kids that we sponsor. So that they can have something tangible to take away. Yes, we do giveaways. Yes, it's fun to give Jordans away. Yes, it's fun to give, laptops away, and it's great to give those tangible things. Right. But where you really grow is having that information, because nobody can take that from you.
Indeed, and you're quite right. And you mentioned something that is very important here, which was family. Yeah. Right. Starting with your mom, with your parents. Right. What is your mother's name?
My mom's name's Rosalind.
Yeah. What about the father?
My biological father's name was Alvin. Okay. And he died when I was 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So were you raised by your stepfather?
I was raised by I call him my pop, because he's the only dad I knew. But he was military. So I grew up in Fort Bliss, West Texas, and El Paso. Okay. But the same kind of thing. A lot of Black families go there, right? Because of military. Yeah. Right. And both sides of my family, for whatever reason, ended up migrating over there.
Got you.
So yeah.
Well, but you originally from what part of the U.S.?
El Paso. That's where I'm from.
Oh, wow.
So my mom, you hear the little accent. My mom is from New York. Okay. And my biological father's from New Orleans. Okay. So you hear a little twang in my voice.
Yeah. No, which is pretty good. You got a little bit, and I'm sure you've been to New York quite a few times. If you got family there, yeah.
Go there for Fashion Week. Yeah. Launch a few things up there. Yeah.
That's all, because your swagger is always on point.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stay fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
so I gotta at least look like what I know what I'm doing.
No. Hey, listen. You don't even have to worry about that part, because you're not only looking like you know what you're doing. People are seeing you doing what you know. Right. And with that, let's take our first break. Let's go into taking a look into some of the things that you're actually doing here in the city. So we'll be right back. And we are back. For those of you that just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight with Gil Ingles, and our guest is Alan Thornton. Yes, the movers and shakers of Houston. Diaspora, stand up. Houston is in the building. 40 acres. Yeah. The essence of capturing history.
Mm-hmm.
The mistakes made during the 40 Acres and the Mule project.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding what they were. And bringing a resurgence of the same, but with a new concept.
Yep.
And a better understanding, and probably the greatest value that a community can have, which is mindset.
Yep.
Yeah. Doesn't just happen. Right. It's created through a lot of adversity, through a journey of probably adversity, heavy impact, pressure.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the journey.
Yeah, so the journey is huge, and going back, people say, like, there has to be something that drives you, right? If you don't have a sense of, if this isn't, everybody, Steve Harvey talks about it, and everybody showed up, right? They showed up with something. He calls it the gift, right? We all have something that we were meant to do on this earth. Les Brown calls it the purpose. What is your purpose? And the two most important days of your life are the day that you're born and the day that you find out why.
Indeed.
And back in 2020 during the pandemic, I was given a bunch of visions. Now, this may scare some of your audience, Gil, but I'll go into it.
Let's go. Yeah.
And I shared the story for the first time publicly, that full story at the gala.
Yes.
The other night, right?
Yes.
Didn't know how it was going to be received, but I just felt the need to go through that, having to been on this journey and having so much adversity at the same time. But once you figure out what your purpose is, in order to, because the way that, and I don't inflict my faith on anybody, but I can tell you without God, I would never be here, and I probably would never be here, right? Like, meaning there's no way that I would want to endure all the trials and tribulations,
Right.
unless I got these visions, right? Because God will give you the end and the beginning, but a lot of times won't give you the steps in between.
Right, the process.
You got to go by faith, man.
Yeah.
You got to go by faith. And a lot of times that's scary. And faith without, like, if you have the visions and everybody was given something that they're supposed to do, but if you don't do anything with it, faith without works
it's nothing.
it's dead, right?
Yeah.
So the richest place on this earth is the graveyard.
Yeah.
So many dead dreams, aspiration, and people that didn't have the
ideas
courage.
not executed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but in the world that we live in, if you're doing your best to execute on your dreams, goals, realities, and I had a billionaire stand on stage and tell me this, you're going to have a lot of people that hate what you're doing.
Indeed.
You're going to have a lot of adversity, right?
Yeah.
Right when things are starting to be good,
Indeed.
something's going to break.
Indeed.
Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Something is going to be put in your way as an obstacle to see if you really believe
Indeed.
in this
On what
thing
you're
that
doing.
you were set to do. Yeah. And that's when you know when you got something.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
when
value.
everything is going against you. Because, and that's the reason, so at our Juneteenth Hall of Fame, and you were there, Gil, that's the reason when you see our awards, they're shaped.
Right.
Do you remember what they're shaped as?
Yes. Indeed.
They're shaped as a diamond. Do you know what it
blame.
takes to make a diamond?
Indeed. The pressure.
Do you know how much pressure?
Yeah. The
And how much,
the carbonization.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. The time.
Starts a piece of coal, right? It does not happen overnight. It takes
Time.
a
And
lot
pressure.
of time
And pressure.
and a lot of pressure till it almost breaks. But if you endure through, it's the most, like you said, precious and valuable stone. And that's you. That's your purpose. That's what you were put on this earth to do.
Indeed.
And once you get there and through this, you'll see some amazing things. You'll get a glimpse of light
Yeah.
through the journey, right? With all these it's a lot of people. I mean, I've gotten hate letters. You won't believe, I've gotten death threats.
Wow.
With a conference from my own people.
Yeah.
From my own people. The most.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times, well, you have to remember that there are people who like being comfortable. And comfortability sometimes can be a bad position to be in for visionaries.
Yeah.
Visionaries will never sit comfortable, right? Because you being given the mission, the understanding that there's better beyond, and you may not be given the plan on how to get there, but you have been given the understanding that it is possible for you to get there.
That is possible.
So you have that faith. You're leaning on your faith to get there, and you're talking to individuals who, first of all, they don't even understand why you're taking yourself out of discomfort. Why are you doing this? We good right here. Why?
We good.
Yeah,
man.
we good. Why are you doing this?
Nice car.
Come on, Alan.
You know.
We already good, man. We got the cars, we got the bling, we go to the clubs, we do what we do. Don't worry about the community. It'll work itself out.
Correct.
But your concern is on that community, is in ensuring that that young mind is actually being freshened up daily to be able to compete globally. Yeah. Because one of the things that you have done, and that's one of my compliments to you, is that you actually were able to pull it back into the continent. When your speech, you mentioned Congo a couple of times. Share a little bit of that with us.
Like I said, through a lot of different adversity, you'll get a glimpse of light. Even if you don't have everything, I believe things are possible. And some of that, just taking it back, before the trip to the Congo, and it's incredible how things happen. I started writing a book, and it's called The Prophecy. If you ever want a copy of it, I'm happy to give one of you, anybody that's listening to this. It may scare you, but I'll give it to you anyway. You read at your own risk.
There you go.
Because a lot of these things 3 years ago started to happen, but it's called The Prophecy. Our Instagram is at 40 Acre Conference. Just say, hey, I saw you on Gil's podcast. Would love a copy of that book. So back then in 2020, when I knew this was possible, at the end of 2020, 6 months later, actually 7 months later, because there's numbers, and 7 is the number of completion. Yeah. But 7 months later, I went to Black Wall Street for the 100-year anniversary. Right. And Black Wall Street is a mecca of black group economics. After 40 Acres and a Mule didn't happen, there were a couple entrepreneurs that said, look, we know this is possible. Yeah, we don't care that the government's not going to give us our 40 acres. We're going to create our own. And they created a black empire. Right. With O.W. Gurley and J.B. Stratford. He had the most luxurious hotel before the Hilton, before the Marriott. And a lot of their plays, the Hilton Marriott, came from this Tulsa, Oklahoma luxurious hotel. Yeah. Same that we're going to build with the 40-acre hotel in the 40-acre district we're working on with Mike Roberts. But we'll tell you later more about that. So I went to Black Wall Street. Unfortunately, hatred and greed. So only time before that we have ever bombed ourselves as an American people. Yeah. Right? We bombed.
Yeah, historically, that was the first probably the only military aggression.
Correct.
Yeah,
against another military American people.
Right. Yeah. Against the people, yes.
So sold their land. Something that we've heard about from history, bought their stuff from pennies on the dollar because they couldn't afford to clean it up, and basically stole their land from them. And that would have created great wealth for generations and generations to come, because it did later on for other families. Right. Now, they had the idea, they knew how to do it, but unfortunately, through so much hatred, it was just torn away. So I had to be there, right? Pulled to be there, gravitated. You ever know when you're just supposed to be somewhere? Like every time I won't go, like something else would pop up and say, hey, you're going to be here. And then a hotel popped up that was just half price. Yeah. That was never, hey, just popped up. You need to be here, there right? You go. Hey, this slot at the Empowerment Center, a bunch of people are going to be there, be there. And I had the opportunity to, at one of those sessions, put my name as a speaker. So all those different things
Right.
started to happen and do. So I show up and I meet a couple people that would later on become honorees in my own conference.
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time. I didn't even have a plan to do a conference. Right. But I met a few people there. I met some people that wanted to uphold protection and the Huey B. Newton Gun Club, right? They met me there. They say, hey, man, you ever need anything now?
Yeah.
Hey, bro, I'm good. But,
Yeah.
hey, I'll keep your number.
Right.
I met Sheila Jackson Lee there, who I had seen her a few times, but she really didn't know me.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like she does now.
Right. Because it's one thing sometimes to come across someone,
correct.
shake hands,
yeah.
introduce yourself.
Shake hands, take a picture, that's it.
Right. And 20 years from now, that person will not remember.
No way. Right.
But at times, there's the one conversation that you will have when you do that one shake hands that will stay with that person forever.
Well, she had a speech, and she was talking about making Juneteenth a holiday, which at that point seemed impossible.
Right.
You're gonna start a black holiday?
Yeah.
A black holiday?
Right.
And people are gonna give that off? No way. That's never gonna happen.
Right.
Right? That hasn't happened since MLK, but MLK is MLK. Right. 40 years ago we'll do it.
Yeah.
I met Roland Martin there. Right? And he was doing an interview on black group economics.
Okay.
The next day, I met a couple guys. I met, who Hill Harper is?
No.
Right? It's a famous actor. And he was mentoring a few guys a little older than me who had a pretty good following, right? A couple 100,000 probably at that time. This was 2 years ago. And they were famous YouTubers. They had a show called Earn Your Leisure.
I know who they are.
So
yeah,
Rashad,
I know who they are. Yes,
Troy,
I know who they are.
Ian lives here.
Indeed.
I met them in a small barbershop. No joke. If people wouldn't believe me if I didn't have pictures. Small barbershop, could barely get in. I was like looking at the outside, looking in. Probably about 50, 60 people there. Wow. And it was packed. Right. People were sitting on the floor and everything. Yeah. But they were talking about starting a conference called Invest Fest. Yeah. Right? And a lot of people told them, don't do it, man. You guys are YouTubers. Stay in your lane. Do what you do. Right. And I said, hey, I want to see it. Cool. If you guys pull that off, I'll be there. I'll buy a ticket. Now, they already had a pretty good following. Right now, it's close to 2 million. Right. And it was way less than that. But 90 days later, they did it. They pulled off a conference. Also, 90 days later, 60 days later, Juneteenth became a federal holiday. I met people.
Promises being fulfilled at that point.
Promises being fulfilled. Yeah. I met a survivor, 3 survivors of the race massacre. They were like 4 years old, 5 years old. Now they're like 104, 109, 106 at that time. Man. I met survivors.
That's empowering.
Right?
Because now you're hearing the story from those who've actually seen.
I saw the greed. So that 100th centennial was supposed to be a lot larger, and they were supposed to have a bunch of celebrities and everything else. Right. And the networks were making a whole bunch of money on it. But they weren't giving anything to the families whose story that they were telling. Wow. So a bunch of celebrities and things pulled out. So I saw, even though it was a really condensed weekend, I was there for like 3 days. Yeah. I went to 3 different churches. Hung out with them, and they embraced me. Tulsa's one of the best. If you haven't been there, one of the best places in the world, right? Yeah. Everybody's so family. I went to an art show. Okay. I went to it was like a 1921 style Gatsby themed like art showcase. And a lot of this I got and put into my own conference. Yeah. So 60 days later, I'll fast forward this. So I met them, and Hill Harper was launching his Black Wall Street app. I was one of his first users. So he said, hey, anything you need, pull up. Yeah. I'll pull up. Earn Your Leisure. I said, hey, I'll pull up. Wasn't easy to get them until they started seeing me everywhere. 90 days later, I pulled up. They had 4,000 people in the room. It was absolutely incredible.
So the impossible just happened.
Correct. Yeah. So that's why when 90 days later I said, hey, I'm going to start my conference. And before that, I had created a thing called Manifestation Shots. Okay. The same thing that we took at the gala.
Yes, right? Yes. The little bottle.
Little bottle. Yeah. and it became very popular at this time. But it was just like a giveaway thing, right, for manifestation.
Right.
And I started testing it out there because I started to look at and document the steps that we took for this manifestation experience.
Yeah.
And 90 days later, when they did that, I started my own conference, and people said, "Don't do it, don't do it." I had already seen it, Gil.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you could tell me, right? If people say, "Hey, man, don't do it, don't do it," but I've seen it being done.
The impossible is always impossible until somebody does it.
Until somebody does it.
Yeah.
So it's like some little kid from the hood or from the neighborhood saying, "I'm going to make it to the NBA." If he sees one of his family members, he knows it's possible. There's nothing you could tell him.
Indeed.
Right? So at this point, there's nothing that they could tell me because I had already seen it being done. And I wanted to put together, and I paid a coach, the number one connection coach in the world. Shout out to Jonathan Sprinkles, to put it all together for me from a messaging and from a branding standpoint.
Yeah.
He did a great job, and we launched it. Get into this. So after we did it, we launched. I said, anytime you try to do something great, the enemy's already trying to do something to you. And we had to take some of our conference virtual because of COVID.
Okay.
It was a resurgence of COVID at that time. That's when the parade went virtual and everything.
Yeah.
But I said, no, we're still going to do it. People said, cancel it. Here's why. You got to keep going. You never know who's connected on the other side. Even if it's not the big dream, you got to execute something.
It. Do something. Move towards it. You got to take that first step.
The presidential cabinet halfway around the world in the Congo saw that we did that. And they flew me to the Congo and said, look, we're going to do an African Americans Descendants Day. We see what you're doing here. We want you to come to Africa. Now, even though it wasn't big, I didn't have 4,000 people, and I didn't have all that, but I executed something.
Yeah.
And I hung up the phone at first. Hey, we want to fly you to the Congo. Click.
Whatever.
Yeah. I've seen these scams happen before.
Yeah. That's a scam, right?
I said, I don't have a passport. They said, here, go to this place. Within 6 hours, I had a passport. Right. 6 hours, Gil.
Yeah.
Special stamp. Here's your diplomatic pass.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. I couldn't get a passport before in 6 weeks. In 6 hours.
Yeah, unless you're in DC. Well, if you're in DC, you can actually go there and pay, and it costs a lot. But you get it on the same day.
For it.
Yeah,
they
handle it. But
I said, okay, this is legit. If y'all can, I don't have a passport. If y'all can give me a passport, I'll go. And they got it. I was like, okay.
And that's God.
Oh, man.
Right?
I left within.
That's faith
from getting
right there.
that, I left within 48 hours.
Wow. So let's take another break, because after the break I want to talk about your experience once you land in Congo.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So for those of you that are joined us, stay tuned in, because this is definitely, oh man, this is great. We'll be right back. Diaspora Central with Alan Thornton. Yes, the 40 Acre Conference in the building. We'll be right back.
First of all, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your kindness for just spending this time with us.
Let us build this in the name of the ancestors, yours and those who are unnamed and unknown. We are due an economic engine in this country. We are due the balance of wealth. That was the prize. Many of you are doing exceptionally well, but it is not the single, it is the collective.
And we are back. If you just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central with Gil Ingles, and our guest today is Alan Thornton of the 40 Acre Conference. Congo. Don't have a passport. Don't even think that it is possible for you to get the passport that fast. 48 hours later, you have a passport and you're on a plane to go land in Congo. Now,
and I'm going by faith too, because at this point in 2021, I had just. This is 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Last year.
Yeah.
2022.
Okay. And this is post-pandemic times.
This is post-pandemic time. Yeah. Although there was that resurgence at the end of 2021.
Right.
Yeah. But this is, I go there and I had just spent almost everything I had on the conference, and I had a business before that. Mm-hmm. People owed me over $1.5 million. Right. I owed money because I hadn't got that money in. So we're making money, but we don't have cash flow.
You're tight. Yeah, you're tight. You're tight.
So I shouldn't have gone to the Congo.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I told I'm sitting here, I'm waiting on checks, I'm ready, cash flows. Mm-hmm. I have an account that's frozen because I'm waiting on somebody to pay me.
Right.
But by faith, I said, you know what? Let's just go. Let's make it happen. They said, what happens if you don't? I said, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I figure I'm supposed to go.
You pack up and
go.
Boom. You land in Congo.
Go for a whole week. Right. I make arrangements and this is hard to do because I got to pick up, not on the best terms, but we're on terms. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. Right. I pick up my daughter that Thursday and I never don't pick up my daughter.
Right.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to have to pick you up, baby girl, on Saturday. I gotta go. This is once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Right. Probably even driving an hour and a half one way on that Cypress, I never just don't pick up my daughter.
You make that. That's your devotion. That's your mission. Because I
changed my mindset a long time ago. Right. With a lot of people, and I hear dads were coming up on Father's Day complaining about that they have to pick up their children.
Right.
There are other dads on the other side that don't get to pick up their children.
Exactly.
So it's an honor and a privilege every time that you get to. It's gratitude. You get to.
Indeed.
I get to. When I was in that Cypress traffic driving an hour and a half one way because there was construction from Third Ward to Cypress, I get to pick up my daughter.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I love this traffic to pick up. And it was worth it every time when I saw her smiling face saying, hey, Daddy.
Yeah.
So that's a long story to tell you. Back to the Congo. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I wanted to see, and I didn't believe it. Mm-hmm. And you have to see things. Yeah. And this part of manifestation, you have to see it. You have vision. The gentleman that brought me on there, he spoke and he said, look, I'm going to take you to a 5-star hotel in the Congo. Right. First of all, I'm like, man, that's incredible. I haven't been to many 5-star hotels. Right. In the Congo, so Kinshasa is the capital, right? Yes. So I go there, have the most incredible ride over there on this. I don't know what type of plane it was, but I could lie down and everything. Right. It was top notch.
Yeah, you're in the continent. You're in the continent.
Get it. I don't even have to get off the plane.
You're
I
in
can
the
stay
continent.
here.
Right.
I can stay here.
Yeah.
Food's incredible, right? Whatever you want to drink, come. Yeah. And I was lit, man. We could stay at this plane the whole time. But he said, once you land, you're gonna get there. He told me a few of the things. You're going to try to shake you down at the airport, tell them you're with it. Tell me all the things that they're going to take you to a little room, try to shake you down, tell them you're with it, right? In French. I don't really speak French, but gave me the whole play the whole time.
Gotcha.
Did the whole thing, told me I didn't have the paperwork, asked for money, gave them a little card. They're like, oh, okay,
you're
cool,
good.
Come
right. Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Came out. Yeah. There are a few gentlemen waiting for me, security. They take me to this other place, and there's police escorts waiting for me. Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm the president.
You're the dignitary now.
I get in the car, and he's in, hey, how you doing? Has to be a glass of champagne. Start going down. Now, there's cars everywhere. If you've ever been to Africa, the concept of roads isn't the same. Right. There's no lines. There's no. Right. You just drive.
Yeah. On one lane, you can get 4 cars in that thing trying to go through at the same.
But people don't crash.
No. But I'll tell you a story.
It's incredible.
After you finish your story, about Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, it had me almost have a heart attack.
It's the craziest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right. It's literally organized chaos.
Right.
And this is and I get the message like this is gonna be your journey.
Yeah.
Organized chaos.
That's it.
Right? It's not gonna look pretty. It's not gonna. But
you
you'll
just
get
gotta
to,
do it.
You're gonna get to where you're going.
Yeah, you gotta do
So
it.
one of the things he told me, and I didn't believe him. I said, "No way." He said, "Once we land and get into this 5-star hotel, you are gonna be the only black person." I said, "What?"
Right.
Because I'm
Now-
looking.
yeah.
I'm in this police. I'm
Right.
looking. There's 18 million people in Kinshasa.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything is
Probably
black.
90% black. I'm looking at
Yeah.
all these black people trying
Right.
to sell fruit and all this. I said, okay. But he said, once you get into this 5-star hotel, you'll be the only black person. I said, how's that possible?
Yeah.
He said, here's why. Africa is the richest country in the world when it comes to raw minerals, diamonds,
Right.
coltan. I said, what's coltan? He said, well, all that.
Yeah.
They
Broke it
there's
down for
world wars on coltan. It's what goes
Major,
into all the
major.
the
Yeah.
battery. I didn't even know that at the time.
Yeah.
He said that the gold, the copper, all those things,
And
they
the
come
big-
from Africa.
They're actually the biggest producer. Congo is the biggest producer of
all that.
coltan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said the Eastern European, all the Belgians, the Chinese,
Right.
the Lebanese, all these people come here, and they will turn on the camera, show you the worst part of Africa,
Yeah.
so that you'll never come. there.
Exactly.
So when I said, I hear you, I hear you.
Yeah.
When I walked into that hotel, marble floors,
Yeah.
40-foot ceiling, chandeliers.
Yeah.
Right? We walk in with champagne,
Right.
people in suits, all suits, limos.
Yeah.
I stood in the lobby,
Right.
and I'm already enjoying my champagne, right?
Right.
I'm enjoying, I've been on this plane, a couple drinks in, right? Full disclosure. But I look around, look to my left, look to my right.
Yeah.
Besides me and Fabrice, we're the only black people in there.
That's it. Yeah. And you're in Africa.
Asians, I'm in the heart of the Congo,
Right.
and I'm the only black person. And at that point, I'm like, man,
Revelation.
I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
Everything lined up for me to be here for a reason. And I was just floored by it.
Yeah.
I also got imposter syndrome while I'm there. You get imposter syndrome, like, what if they find out that I'm not really, and sitting in that,
I'm not who's
Police-
supposed to be.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Right.
Look,
Yeah.
police. The next day, they take us to a tour through Africa. They show us some of the vegetation, how things are built. Like, we go to this resort with this huge waterfall.
Right.
They take us on this jungle safari. I'm walking with armed guards the whole time. The next day, we stay there for a couple days and just chill. We do this like fire excursion.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is either
I'm daydreaming.
I'm dreaming. Like, the end of this, they're gonna ask me for a bunch of money I don't have, and I'm done with. I'm gonna just enjoy this because this is it.
Whatever is at the end of
Mama,
this is gonna be big.
you. I love you.
Yeah.
The next day we go to what I call the Black House because it's the
Right.
equivalent of
Right. Yes.
the White House here.
Yes. The president's palace.
Girl, I'm sitting at a table with the Minister of Finance, with the Prime Minister of Health, the General, right, of security, right?
Right. Military, probably.
Military. President walks in. African time is real, right? The dinner starts at 7.
Yeah.
He gets there at 11.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're giving us
Yeah.
all kind of food.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
We're
No.
chilling.
No. You wait. Yeah. You
But
wait.
the president shows up.
You
I
wait.
thought, okay, maybe he's not going to show, but he shows up, and there's probably 30 people at the house
Right.
in the middle of the garden. Beautiful dinner, beautiful
Right.
setup, beautiful. And I'm thinking, man, who do they think I am?
Yeah.
Who? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sitting in this seat, but
Am I the imposter here?
I don't belong. I don't belong here, man. Like, people probably pay $100,000 to sit in that seat.
Right.
Think about how much people would pay to be, whether it's Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, whoever you are, whatever side, to sit in the room that close court to talk about something like this.
To a head of state. And that's what I always say. See, the one thing that at that point you have carried is that now you are home. See, this is home for you. You're being told this is home. The narrative that you have been given is not the narrative that you should have had.
Yeah.
This is home for you. You see them? All of them are here.
Yeah.
But you're not. As a matter of fact, you even run. You don't want to come here. You don't even want to associate yourself with it because you don't know what it is. Now you're seeing what it is. Go tell it in the mountain.
And he said, we're going to build a pipeline.
Yeah.
And we'll even give you land.
Right.
I said, give me land? Me?
Yeah.
I want to establish this African-American Descendants Day to bring more African-Americans back to, right? Because Congo was one of the biggest places where they took a lot of the slaves from.
Yes,
right?
yes.
I want to bring more people here, and we'll give them tax incentives. We'll give them their own land.
Yeah.
Just build stuff here.
Yeah. Come invest home.
Come invest back here.
Come build home.
Come build.
Come back home. Bring what you learned.
Because we have the richest country, but everybody else steals it from us.
And takes it away.
Yeah. Right? They employ our people, then they kill them. It's almost modern day slave. Those coltan and diamond mines.
Yeah.
Right? People have to, and you've probably seen the movies, but it's very corrupt.
Yeah.
So to see that and to be like, I'm a part of this. I don't even know how I got here. Right? I just did a conference. It didn't have that many people. It didn't have thousands of people. And you're looking at me. They're like, no, we saw it on TV. We saw it. You are supposed to be here. Because I haven't voiced it to them. I'm like, hey, whatever y'all think I have.
Don't ask me for it.
Look,
I
got some knowledge. I can help you put together some cell cycles. But
keep me here or something. But trust you and me, there'll be nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, they're like, no, but you're supposed to be here. You're the guy.
You're chosen.
And in that dream, a couple years earlier, where I started writing all those books, I got that same message. No, you're supposed to be there. That's supposed to be here.
It's God.
President of a major country saying, hey, you're here. Having trillions of dollars worth of resources.
Yeah.
That a lot of them can't even get to because they have to mine it.
Right.
We want to build a pipeline. And I don't even know how they connect the dots.
Right.
He just said, go, you'll figure it out.
Right.
You're telling me you have all these people at your disposal. What can
Who am I?
And, when I got back, it's just a revelation. And I was watching this sermon. And one of the message from the sermon was a sermon from Mike Todd, Transformation. He was saying God doesn't call qualified people.
Yep.
He finds people that answer the call and then qualifies them.
You must answer that call.
And I'm like,
you must stand up. You must take that leap of faith.
So no matter how hard this has been, no matter how, like during this, I've gotten my house broken into, all my stuff torn up. Like it should been simple. I went through a custody battle, almost lost my, like all these things. I pick up my kid every 3 days. Like there's no reason I should be a custody battle. Like, somebody's just, you don't need to smash all my stuff and like, we'll have a conversation, go out separate. Like, it ain't even gotta be that.
Right.
Got into one of my brothers, all these things that should have never happened.
Pressure.
But during this time, all at the same time.
Pressure.
The pressure. Are you right?
Yeah.
Tires broken. Right. Why is this out? I've had my electricity out, about to send to a major proposal. I look outside and, there's this big crane and they're like, oh, sir, something. I'm like, really? Right now?
Yeah.
Like so many things like that
At that point, you probably even start to believe, you know what? They probably bugged this crib. I can't even be on the phone. I mean, somebody listening to my conversation. conversations.
And you start to believe that, but then what you know, it's just the spirit trying to work against you, trying not
Gotta
to let
keep
you
the
get
faith.
to that destination.
You got to keep the faith.
You got to keep going.
Yeah.
And then the next time, so we started the Juneteenth Hall of Fame, coming back from Africa, which Juneteenth just became a holiday. Now we own the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Right. And I started posting, and I'm like, man, maybe we should postpone this till everybody gets here. And I was told everybody will never be here.
Right.
You just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Right. And the first Juneteenth Hall of Fame, I didn't have any of the honorees there. None came.
Wow. Non-belief.
They didn't know what. Yeah, we'll see when you get it.
Didn't understand.
Sheila Jackson Lee helped me establish it, though. And then we had the stamp from Congress.
Yeah.
Right? So the next time, next conference.
So you get all you coming in legit. You beyond what people even dream about. You're not coming out and saying, "Oh, I'm doing this thing, whatever, blah blah." No, Congress is already stamping you like you the it.
Congress stamps it.
Yeah.
So the next one I do MLK, the White House is stamping my certificates.
Yeah.
So then the next, and I get Earn Your Leisure to come in. I get 19 Keys in.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the next time I get a billionaire to come through, I get a couple billionaires in the room. So now it's a thing.
Yeah.
Right. After this, I do a 10-day long thing and and if you heard, after that, I sent it to one of the executives at BET, and they said, I don't know what we can do, but this needs to be nationally televised.
Right.
Right? And people thought, hey, it's too soon. Wait till everybody can go. No.
Let's go.
Because if we get that in BET and this is national televised,
Let's go.
we had to do it.
Yeah.
With whoever's there.
Indeed.
And we had a couple of honorees. So every single time it's going to build more. And I'm telling you, next year, we're going to get Tyler Perry.
Yeah. But the one thing that I learned is that if you improve anything at least 1/10 or 1%, right? Every time you do it, eventually you get to the final goal.
Correct.
Right? But you got to keep on doing it and improving it. Yeah, let's take another quick break because we definitely got to, good things come, how time flies. Good things come to an end quick, but we got to get a little bit more out of you because after all, you are an author, and authorship allows you to share some of that great, brilliant mind that you have with the rest of us. So let's take a quick break and then we come back to listen to a little bit more of this visionary, Alan Thornton. Mover and shaker, definitely making sure that the diaspora and the continent are bridging that gap. It's not about talk, it's about action. We'll be right back.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today to celebrate the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at the inaugural 40-Acre Conference. Dr. King inspired generations in the pursuit of justice. And almost 60 years since his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech, his contributions are still felt each and every day. So today, we honor a great American, a humble Christian, and a champion for equal rights. God bless you, and may God continue to bless this great nation we love so much.
Look, this is Mayor Sylvester Turner. I just want to say congratulations on the inaugural 40-Acre Conference. It was a hit. Looking forward to it next year, and I won't miss.
So we're doing cultural community culture. We are sitting here on MLK weekend. The goal is to create an economic-driven holiday, $1 billion holiday. Black Friday is a $10 billion holiday. We are creating $1 billion holiday. It started right here in the city of Houston.
Now, thank you, man. Looking forward to working very closely with you. All right. Thank you.
And we are back. For those of you that just joined us, you now tuned into the Diaspora Central Spotlight. And my guest today, ladies and gentlemen, is the Honorable Alan Thornton, a man who has gone experienced the continent, understood what the continent needs from the diaspora. And now he's come back and he's willing to share what that is with us so that we understand what is it that the continent needs from the rest of us. Alan, the author. You have several books out there.
I do.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So even before that, I've been a huge proponent of manifestation, right? A lot of people don't believe in it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, before I even went to Africa, I started wearing an Africa chain
Okay.
about 7 months before I went
Yeah.
to Africa. And then I end up going
Yeah.
first class. We wouldn't call that first. We'll call that diamond class.
There you go.
That was a whole nother class.
That's a different level.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But we went through Africa, and I started one of the buildings, and this is going back to this last one. I had billionaire Michael V. Roberts here, and I got a vision of this building back in 2020. And it's on the front page of my book, The Prophecy. Again, if you want that, reach out at 40acreconference.org or at 40acre Conference on Instagram, Facebook, all the different platforms. But message us there. I'll send you the book. Read at your own risk. It'll scare you. Because on the front page, there was a building, and there's a vacant building downtown that looks very similar to that building. Right, many of you have seen it. And I brought Mike Roberts here, and I brought him down to get scanned because at our Juneteenth Hall of Fame, we're also building a museum.
Right.
Right, and all the different honorees, similar to the Professional Hall of Fame, will have their own busts similar to that. And I'm building it right here in Houston.
Right.
So I bought him to get scanned for that 3D scan at the Ion, and I showed him the Ion, and he's like, "Man, this is nice. What did this used to be?" And I said, "It's funny you say that. This building called the Ion was a vacant building. It was an old Sears building for years, and it looked like that other building I sold." He said, "Old Sears building?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You wouldn't believe this, but back in 40 years ago, 1983, I revamped totally an old Sears building."
Wow.
He said Sears historically would buy a bunch of buildings, and then once a bunch of black people moved in,
Right.
they just left them vacant, right? And they moved to other places, so they were vacant all across the. And I'm like, yeah, they're right now. That's what it used to be. And he said, "Okay, I see the vision."
Okay.
Right. So you want to do this? And I took him over there to see that building.
Yeah.
And we did a drone footage. We did all kinds of things, 3D,
the assessment,
planning him out, everything.
Yeah.
And he said, "There's a lot of homeless people around here." I said, "Yeah." He said, "There's a program that I'm working with in Baltimore, Detroit, DC, that helps homeless people clean up, and then they go find productive work in my other hotels."
Yeah.
Because he owns hotels, innovation.
Right.
Owns 14 hotels.
Yeah.
Owns TV stations. Like all these different things. He's like, "Yeah, you could do that right here." I said, "Wow, that's incredible."
Yeah.
And put together the whole vision. We put it in a packet, and we're about to release that, and it looks exactly like the building that was in my vision.
Wow. On the book.
In 2020. And I told him, "Hey, Mike, let me be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
I don't, this building right here, this building, right now, just the dirt is probably $58 million.
Whee.
And he said, "Don't worry about that. I'll tell you a story tomorrow." And we got on stage and we talked about a building that he acquired for $100 million and built it leveraging and bringing value to other people and buying a $100 million building.
There you go.
And he said, "I'm going to teach you how to do it."
Right.
What we don't know.
Mentorship right there.
So what we don't know, exactly, the mentorship. Yeah. A lot of people in what Jonathan Sprinkles, one of my coaches, calls the arc of influence, right? You have struggle, you have survival, where you're just trying to eat. Yeah. Then you move up to struggle, right? And then in struggle, you move to success. You're stable, and then you move to success. And success is like, how long can I stay here? And then you move to a place where a lot of millionaires and billionaires are, very few black ones.
Yeah.
Can count on less than two hands.
Yeah.
To a place of significance. place of legacy.
Hmm.
And that in that place, they're looking not how long will this last, they're how long can my legacy bring value to other people, and right?
Yeah.
That legacy.
Right.
So that's why you can get somebody like that who really believes and shows, because a lot of people, the craziest thing you can do in this world is do what you say you're going to do.
Indeed.
Because so many people don't.
Yeah.
And he said, and he told me, look, I'll help you as long as you help yourself.
Yeah.
And I can see that what you're doing,
Right.
you just need a little help.
Indeed.
And they just want,
You got the vision.
right?
Yeah. You need the
And it's-
push.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so now that we have all those things together, people will start to fall in line. Even if everything perfect isn't going in your life, and it
Right.
wasn't, it never will.
Got to keep on pushing.
Once people see some of this, so they see the conference, like, okay, you can do the conference. They see that. Once we buy a building in a major city,
Right.
when I'm telling you right now,
Right.
I don't have the money to buy that building.
Yeah. But
we're
it
gonna
comes.
buy it.
It comes. It comes. You keep on pushing, eventually way will find its way.
Right.
Yeah.
Even to have a billionaire as a mentor,
Right.
that's out of this world.
Yeah. And these are things now, just to kind of connect back a little bit to your childhood. At any point in your childhood, did you even envision what you live in right now?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah.
So when I was a little kid, I used to tell people that, we're going to have an when you have lemonade stands. So I had a lemonade stand that said Thornton Enterprises on it.
Okay.
And
Wow.
tell people this is my first property. We're gonna get more. This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
And I actually built a sculpture of
it.
what my company would look like at 4 or 5 years old.
Visionary.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, as a man thinketh, so shall he. Right. And
Indeed.
you get to 37 years old.
Indeed.
Like, oh man, is my time past? Is it too late?
Yeah. Never.
Then you hear the story of Colonel Sanders, who didn't really make it till
Right.
he was 70 years old.
Right.
Now I'm not waiting till 70, but
No, but you keep on trucking though, because it's that process.
the process.
Yeah,
is
and
what
you
makes
can time the
man.
process.
But
you can
wanna
time the
quit- I'm
process.
telling- there's
You're
so
building
many-
legacy.
Like, yo,
right?
man, this is
Yeah.
too much.
You're building legacy though. Think about it.
Too
See,
much, man.
when you're building legacy, you can put time on legacy, because every single step that you're taking, you're inspiring someone. You're teaching someone something. You making somebody believe in something that they didn't even think it was possible. It's like you renewing the world, man. It's like you throwing energy that people are not used to having. You become this transformational person, this person that inspires transformation in people, that changes lives. I mean, you impacting. I mean, you moving, you shaking people to their core, man. I mean, it's just think about it. The fashion show that you did with the children,
Oh man.
the impact of that, right? Those little kids tomorrow, the pride that they're now gonna feel in understanding that, you know what? Yeah, I was born in America, but I am an African.
Yes. And to do those because you always think, man, maybe I should just hold off on this one and just build for the next one,
Right.
and just wait till I have everybody in the room, and wait till I have all the ducks in the room, wait till I have. But to that one kid, I'll tell you, I was at our Freedom Festival, and I judged a pitch competition,
Okay.
and there was this young girl, and I said, who wants to practice their pitch first? And she jumped up.
Yeah.
And I said, who wants to do it for Jordans? Right? I did it on purpose to see
Right.
who would jump up.
Yeah.
So now everybody jumps up. Right?
Yeah.
So she jumps up. She gave me her pitch. And I said, you can beat half, what my grandpa told me, you can beat half the people in life just by showing up.
There you go.
And I gave her a pair of Jordans. This
Boom.
young lady,
Right.
7th grade,
Wow.
never had a pair of Jordans. Custom Jordans, and
Yeah.
all colors. The
Right.
Juneteenth edition, special edition for this, probably $400 shoes.
Yeah.
And she got it, and everybody was so happy for her because she had always wanted a pair of Jordans.
There you go.
Right? Just by
Right.
showing up. So
She showed up.
if we don't do this,
Stood
if
up.
I don't show up,
You-
they never get that out. And that, she may be the next person on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And remembering that moment, look, I stood up, I did this pitch competition, and I got my first.
Life
That may
changing,
change the
man.
trajectory of her life.
Life changing. You changing minds. You changing the mindset of the community. You shaping what this community is supposed to be. And for that alone, man, on behalf of all of us, thank you for being that individual, for being that person. Now, what do we have up and coming with you in the next few months? What are the new things? How can people assist you?
Days,
what can people do? Yeah, days, months. You know, when you're building legacy, you're planning a lifetime, man. Yeah. You're planning a lifetime. So how can people engage? How can people get into it? What is the support that you need? Give us what is it that 40 Acres needs in order to succeed from a community perspective?
No, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
And what I found about people is if I tell you something about next week, next month, next year, you'll wait.
Right.
And later means never.
You won't act.
You won't act.
Yeah.
There's no call to action. So I'll tell you what we need right now.
Okay.
Right? Our goal is to sponsor over 1,000 kids.
1,000 children.
Yeah. It costs about $250 to sponsor a kid.
Okay.
We're still a few hundred short.
Okay.
Right? Because these kids, we all the content, all the production. You saw the production.
Yes,
had
definitely.
a 64-foot screen.
Yeah, that's
10-foot
no,
wide.
that is hard. That
$50,000 screen.
Yeah, that building is that look, and this is for the audience, honestly. And you don't have to believe what I say, because you may be saying, oh, you know what, since Alan is there, you just go sign it. No, you need to go take a look for yourself. I mean, in all honesty, what I am saying is a lot of times we don't believe that. And then Houston is such a big city that a lot of times these pockets of good things happen and don't get broadcasted. All that I'm telling you is, honestly, go visit 40 Acres Conference. Go take a look at these events. Just go take a look. Just show up. That's all I'm saying. And bring your children if you have children. They actually safe events, so bring your children.
Yeah. So and all the content, all the $1 million panels, we package up and we give to these underserved kids so that they can literally be what they see. If you want to be in real estate, if you want to be in stocks, if you want to be in chat GBT engineer, right? All those different things we package so that you can use and don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars beating your head against the wall like we did, right? We also give you mentorship and everything. So we package that up to really help them be what they see. And then to the next level, those that really want to do something transformational, you saw we're rolling out the 40 Acre District, right? We're raising money to... And this is the first, and we're going to do this in 270 cities. I told you some people would drop off thinking, and it would scare some people. But if you go to www.40acreplan, you can see all 270 cities. It is close to a $200 billion project.
Now,
right? But we have to start doing one.
Right. Now, all these cities, are you also including cities in the continent? Or just in the U.S. continental?
All over the world.
All over the world. So this is a worldwide initiative.
It is.
Allowing our children to compete globally.
Correct.
Transformational.
And they get to, even some of these pitches, we house them, we record them, and then we, on the network, we broadcast them to 200 different countries.
There you go.
So all these different things and all these different actions, the big numbers don't happen if we don't have the small things happen.
Right.
So at a minimum, I mean, sponsored kid, $250. You can go to our website, go to our sponsorship page, and help us keep this initiative forward. Because all this production, all this equipment, yes, we have sponsors, but we cannot continue to keep this thing going. Right? This isn't even. I cannot keep doing this as my main thing.
Right.
Because we have bills to pay too.
Yeah,
right.
Indeed.
So we want to make sure that this happens, and you'll see the transformation. That happens in a lot of these kids. You'll see the performance. We have performers that come through. I had a performer perform with me and then perform with us last June. Now she's performing with Chris Brown.
There you go.
So these things matter.
Yeah.
Right? But we have to get more people in the room, get more awareness, right? Run more ads, run get better food and everything so that they want to stay, get better prizes, get better giveaways. I want to pay our kid performers, right? We give them shoes, that's great, but I want to give each and every one of them a paycheck even every time they come. So all those different things take resources and resources from the community. A lot of corporations want to get involved in Juneteenth, don't know how. If you're trying to do a last minute activation, let us help you look good.
There you go.
Right.
Because if you don't look good, we all don't look good.
Correct.
Yeah. It's about building community. It's about ensuring that we are ready and prepared. And when I say ready, I'm saying prepared. In other words, at the drop of a dime, you are ready to compete globally. And compete globally by actually standing in your faith, by not sacrificing or putting at a standby any of your integral or most innermost beliefs. Because remember, as a community, we must stand for each other. Mr. Alan Thornton, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for being so much. And I want to leave the audience with this. Something my grandpa told me and something I had the opportunity to tell this young 7th grader who we just gave Jordans to, who's going to be a CEO in her own right.
There you go.
You can beat half the people in life by just showing up, right? Now's when we need each and every one of you to show up yourselves. Remember, later means never. Come out to an event, go online, support a kid, be part of our showcase, buy a ticket or buy a table to something for our next events, because we do monthly events leading up to our big events, MLK. But just get involved, show up somehow, and we're going to show out for you. Y'all have a blessed day.
There you go. Show up, show up, show up, show up, show up. It's the 40 Acre Conference. And remember, it's right here from us, by us, for us. Until next time, peace.